Hello and welcome to another episode of the DigiTeacher Digest. I have a very severe cold, I'm afraid, so please forgive the voice. This week I'd like to look at a project I put together for my grade 8 class. We were studying The Merchant of Venice, and I decided to stage a play called The Merchant of Twitter. So back in 2010, 6 professional actors from the Mudlark and the Royal Shakespeare Company put together a play on Twitter. They used modern language and just took the characters from Romeo and Juliet. The play itself was called Such Tweet Sorrow, and it was a series of tweets by the characters. And I decided to use this as the basis for my project with grade 8. So the aim of the project was pretty much just to have fun, but obviously there were secondary pedagogical aims that I was hoping that students would come to understand the play a little bit better by engaging with the tweeting process, to be tweeting in character, if you like. So the only instructions I gave them was that they didn't have to use Shakespearean English, they could use modern English, and that all characters were equal. So if you were assigned the role of the merchant, for example, that didn't mean you were the most important character. All characters were equal. The messenger, for example, could tweet just as much and control the narrative. And then we took it through the different acts of the play, so that I would announce it's now Act 1, and then characters were pretty much free to tweet in whatever order they wanted to and respond to each other, as would happen in real life, but that they would largely be following the events of Act 1. And then after about 15 minutes, we would move to Act 2 and so on until the play was complete. So this was back in 2012. So it's quite a long time ago now. And I subsequently went on to do a similar play with the whole grade for A Christmas Carol. But let's look at The Merchant of Twitter and see what happened. So here are a few tweets from the play. I had created a whole lot of fake accounts on Twitter under the names of the different characters in the play. This was a very fraught process because you have to verify each account. So I needed to create Gmail accounts for each character so that I could verify from the Gmail account. And at one point, Twitter got quite suspicious of me, and I had one of my characters blocked for suspicious activity. So after a somewhat slow start, the students really got into the spirit of it. So I think this tweet captures that sense of fun that students had with the project. Posting pictures of a monkey, Jess got a monkey. They were able to translate into modern English and using Twitter conventions, adding images and so on in quite a delightful way. Many different tonalities of voice emerged. So Tubal taking it very seriously, really, Jessica, daughter, monkey, I'm so disappointed in you, had higher hopes for you, my dear. Whereas Celerino is really celebrating, woo-hoo, nice guys, I'm going to miss Graciano on the dance floor, his mad breakdancing moves, etc. And students were able to respond pretty much in character in that way, which was very pleasing to see. Little subplots emerged as well. For example, when the Prince of Aragon announced his love for Morocco, and Morocco responded in kind, and Celerino said, rather jokingly, we're throwing a coming out party for them. So happy for you, you make such a good company. In the meantime, the more serious Duke of Venice is carrying on about the trial scene. So there was a kind of mix which I really enjoyed. It became a creative piece rather than just a schoolwork revision process or something like that. And I really enjoyed that spirit of joking and having fun with it. So, for example, at one point Graciano, and I'm reading from the transcript here, said, what do you get if you cross a sorceress with a millionaire, a very witch person? And the point there is that the joke doesn't come from Shakespeare necessarily, but it enters into the spirit of Graciano as a character who jokes all the time. And the student who was playing that part really understood that. One of the most prolific tweeters was Stefano the Messenger. And this is just one of the tweets taken from the PDF transcript that I made. And he writes, "Don't forget, I see what goes on behind closed doors. Watch out, Portia. Your man enjoys cross-dressing just as much as you do. XOXO gossip guy." So I was really pleased at how students entered into the spirit of things. But did they learn anything? Did it help their understanding of the play? I have absolutely no idea. I think the value in exercises like this is it gives students a chance to explore academic themes, such as the themes of the play and the characters within the play, and to be able to do that within their own idiom. And having it on Twitter provided them an opportunity to use rather more vernacular expressions and to mix things up, to invent things, but inventing things that were still in character, still in the spirit of the play, very much in the spirit of the original, Such Sweet Sorrow. And for grade 8s, I think that's absolutely vital. For a grade 8 student to get hold of a Shakespeare play and to be able to unpack the different threads of themes and characterization and so on, it is not an easy task. And the students here all demonstrated an understanding of the themes and of the characters. Would they have done so without the play? Yes, I'm sure they would have. But I think doing the play enhanced their enjoyment of that process. And I think when you're enjoying something, I think you do learn better. I mean, I can't prove that. There's no research that I can show, no quantification of that. I can't show that marks rose or anything like that. But it certainly gave me enough hope to then set up a second and even more successful play, A Christmas Carol, also on Twitter. So let me dive into that a little bit now. So I think you can see in this tweet that throughout the play, this is from the transcript, students took it to another level. There were many more. For example, Mrs. Cratchit shared a lot of recipes online, as presumably her character might well have done. And the tone was totally irreverent. And one of the reasons for this is that we did it after exams. So there's that period of time after the exams are finished at the end of the year, and teachers need to mark, and you need to keep students a little bit busy. It's not much worth doing extra, starting any new work. And activities like this, taking the whole grade, I took them into the media center, and all the grade 8s participated in the play this time, not just my own English class. And the spirit was sort of, post-exam celebration, if you like. They had written an exam on this book. So the aim of the play now was not to enhance their understanding in any way. It was just to explore creativity with the medium. And they really entered into the spirit of that. So I just want to share one final example from Christmas Carol with you. These 3 tweets really tickled my fancy. The charwoman who bemoans the fact that she's doing laundry every day. I hate my job. Mrs. Cratchit, who's just found the best eggnog recipe for Christmas. #Christmas Cratchit. And the undertaker who buried a fresh body today. She needed a shower. The humor is very dark and very uplifting at the same time. And I think students managed to capture that sense of the heartwarming story of the Christmas Carol that is beloved by so many people. The resolution of Christmas and charity and love against a backdrop of the harsh realities of Victorian life. Scrabbling in the dirt for a living, trying to avoid the poor houses and so on. And I think the students captured that absolutely beautifully. These 2, The Merchant of Twitter and A Christmas Carol, which was performed on Twitter a few years later, I think were experiments which I would urge teachers to replicate. I would certainly see them as worthwhile exercises. It was very onerous for the teacher setting up all these fake accounts on Twitter, going through that whole process, but so rewarding to see what the students made of it. And if you approach it as a kind of creative, fun project that tangentially may have some educational benefit, I think you will get a lot out of this project. But I wouldn't do it on Twitter. So, these days students have very different attitudes towards social media platforms like Twitter or Facebook. They're seen as rather fuddy-duddy, and they turn to platforms such as TikTok. So I would do it on TikTok or WhatsApp, something that's really familiar to them, that they enjoy. That obviously would include video production and would be, something of a different project. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the DigiTeacher Digest, and if you want to see more, please like and subscribe. Please leave comments. I would love to hear what you have to think, or any similar projects that you've done with your classes, and we can share ideas and share thoughts about it. And please subscribe. That will make sure that you never miss another episode again.